I'm Dennis, aka Bear. I'm the worship leader at Treasure Church. Um, I I didn't think I needed this class. I would come over to the church for Thursday nights, and I would sit there like, why am I even here? I knew who God was, but I didn't know Him at this level now. Um, I went through deliverance, um, and I had a serpent. Montavious, his name was. I call him Monty Python for short because he was blinding me, covering my ears, um, hardening my heart, not allowing me to accept Jesus. I could hear it, but I couldn't hear it. And I put up walls because of the fact that when I was a kid, I never really had much of a childhood. My dad was in the military. Never really had much for vacations and things because it was kind of a quick day trip, and that was what we called a vacation. And my dad was a drinker. I thought that was the norm. So when I got to the age of where I could start drinking, I started drinking, and it just became a lifestyle to me, and I thought that was normal. I thought that was the normalcy, and I was raised Catholic. I went through Catholic grade school from first grade through eighth grade. I was an altar boy, so I was involved in church back then. But like I said, I heard it, but I didn't hear it. And the Journey class has really exposed me to hearing the Word of God and hearing Him and knowing that He is a real person, that He really is there for us. I've had some situations in my life that I wish I could go back on and correct because of the fact that I didn't know God back then, and now I do. And I know that looking back, I would change that situation if I could. But I know that we have eyes in the front of our head because God always wants us to go forward and never go back. And it's been a journey. It's been a great journey. It's all about Jesus and being obedient to Him and just unconditional love that He gives us. It's there. We don't have to beg for it. We don't have to impress anybody to get that love from Him. That's just automatically flowing to us. So, looking back at the first couple times that I went to the Journey class, like I said, I was completely like, why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. But looking back now, I realize why I'm there, why I actually pursued this and stayed after it. There's people that start stuff and then they stop. And they start it thinking with a great attitude that this is going to be awesome for me. I love this. But the reason that they walk away is because it starts poking at your heart. And when it does, that's when people say, I'm done. I've had enough. But you have to have the strength to muscle through that and keep pushing forward, because if you don't, nothing's going to change. And in order for something to change, you have to make a change, and you have to change your heart, soften your heart. God's going to do that for you. The Journey class will expose that to you because it did it to me. I was prideful. Every man is. But God woke me up in the middle of the night one night and said one word to me, and it was pride. And it crushed me. I was in my living room till 3:30 in the morning on my knees praying to God to not leave me behind. It has been a walk. It's been a great walk.
Talk to me about your struggles with alcoholism, and did that lead to depression?
Yes, I actually went through a divorce, and when I went through the divorce is when I really fell into the alcohol. because I felt that was my escape, as they always say. You know what? I can forget about it for today, but guess what? It's going to be there tomorrow. It's the same thing when people say, well, a person's a drug addict. Well, you know what? Alcohol is a drug as well. It's the same thing. You're using it to cover something up. You're building that wall and separating you. And all that wall is doing is that wall separated me from getting to know Christ. Because I without him in my life, I was trying to find my own joy. And that might have been through alcohol. That might have been through my music. Since this class, I have changed the way that I look at worship music now. I don't just look at the chords and the music on the paper anymore. I actually look at the song and I read the song, because by reading the song, you can understand what that artist actually felt at the time when God was giving that person those words. So I try to take that and translate that back into how I can reproduce that for the church, for God, so that God can understand that, yes, his heart has changed. And that's what I'm after. I'm after God's heart. He's already got mine. He's taken it and he's softened that heart up and he's made it into a piece of clay. And he just keeps forming me. And I'm so grateful for it. It was difficult at times to be in the leadership role, but since this class, God's made it so much easier, because I'm following him. I'm not following self anymore. So if I follow him, he's going to lay it all out for me. He's going to talk to me. He's going to let me know what songs should be played. What should we do for Sunday? How can we coordinate this? How can we coordinate this with each other in the worship team, so that everybody is on the same page? That's something that I'm still working with, but God is guiding me through that. It's not something to where I'm not going to change to help anybody. That's not my goal. My goal is to help as many people as I can, whether it be through music, whether it be to help somebody get back home. It doesn't matter at this point in my life, because it's all about Jesus. And I never, ever looked at it that way, but I finally, for the first time in my life, realized it.
So how long have you been a worship leader, and how did that start? Tell me about your time on the road and how that morphed into.
Well, I started out when I was 13 years old. I actually started playing in bands. I was I was the front man for a rock band back in high school, junior high, and then into high school. And when I got out of high school, I got myself into a country southern rock band in Wisconsin, and we were pretty good. I had the opportunity to open for Tim McGraw and Lone Star, John Michael Montgomery. I played some big shows, and I had an opportunity then to go to Nashville. The road manager from Lone Star asked me to come to Nashville, and I couldn't do it. God had a different plan for me, because if I would have done that, I don't know what road I would have taken at that point. But we talk about it in the journey class that there's two paths that you can go down. You can either go down this road or you can go down this path. Which road do you want to take? Well, if you keep going down that same road, you keep falling into the same holes. You keep stumbling every time. So you come to a point where you have to take a different path, and that's the path that I took. And that path that I took then was to start doing Christian music. And I started playing, I played rhythm guitar, and I started doing vocals, some lead vocals and some harmony vocals with a local band that we had here from Treasure Church. And then that band kind of split up, and I stepped in basically to the role at Treasure Church as worship leader. And I've stayed there ever since. And now the people that are around me with the worship team are a great support team, because everybody is caring. Everybody knows what it's all about. It's not about me. It's not about anybody else on that platform. It's all about Jesus. And if we all continue to keep that thought, service is going to flow, the music is going to flow, and there's no tension on the platform anymore, because to be on that platform is a privilege. It's not anything else. It's not, hey, look at me. It's not about that. It's humbling yourself before the Lord and just giving the talents that He gave to me and everybody else on that platform, giving it back. That's what it's all about.
That's beautiful, man. So, talk about just like your struggles during the Jesus journey. Like, what was it like coming into it? What was your mind frame? And then this oppressive spirit that you had on you, was it deceiving you and trying to get you to quit, or just kind of open up about that?
When I came in the journey class, I was bucking it. I did not want to be there. I thought, why am I here? I'm fine. But little did I know that there were some things that were deep roots down inside that Pastor Allen was able to find, was able to call out by name to get him out of me. And when that happened, that was a change to my whole demeanor. My wife has even said, you have a different side about you that I've never seen. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's all about Jesus. There's nothing else that this class is for except that it's all about Jesus and building that relationship with Him, being able to know if something is trying to attack you, that you have the weapons to be able to fend it off. Being in the watchtower and seeing when things are coming at you, that you're able to fend them off before they get too close. As a human, we tend to fall away sometimes, but it's so important that we stay focused and we keep our eyes on Jesus, because that's what it's all about. When Peter stepped out of the boat and he was keeping his eyes on Jesus, he was able to walk across the water. But the minute he took his eyes off of Jesus, what happened? He started to sink, he started to fail, and Jesus was there to pull him back up again. And that's what I feel that this class does, is that if you stumble, Jesus is going to be there to help you and pull you right back up again. Which I never knew that. I never knew him. I was really an orphan. Even though I was going to church and I was doing this, like I said, I heard him preaching, but I didn't hear it. I didn't receive it because I couldn't receive it because of that Montavious that I had wrapped around my head and my heart. And just now that that's gone, it's softened me.
So for people who haven't been through deliverance yet, let's say somebody's considering doing the Jesus journey, they're watching this, or maybe somebody's kind of halfway through it, but they don't understand what these things mean because maybe they're either oppressed themselves or they're just ignorant or they're new to the faith or whatever. Explain what Python spirit is and explain how you would combat that now that your eyes have been opened to the truth.
The Python spirit, in a layman's terms, to think about this would be putting a blindfold on, putting earplugs in, putting a blindfold on, and taking your heart and closing it up inside a can. That you're not going to let anything, you're not going to let anything out, you're not going to let anything in, you're not going to be able to see the goodness of God, you're not going to be able to hear His word. So all of these things piled up equal up to one thing. And that one thing is devastation, because of the fact that if you don't release this, if you don't let it go, all it's going to do is it's going to continue to keep building and building and building. And that's exactly what Satan is after. He wants you to be in complete disarray, because the more confused you are, the further and further and further you stay from God. And that's the furthest thing that we want to have happen. We want you to be parallel with God. We want you to walk with him day in and day out. And yes, like I said earlier, do we sometimes make mistakes and waver? Yes, we do. We're humans. But God says, you know what? By his grace, he's got us. He's going to protect us. He's going to take care of us. Since that python has been removed from me, I can see clearly now. I can hear. I'm able to feel emotions. As you can see, I'm crying because it changed me. It softened me to the point to where I try to look at it now from Jesus' eyes. And I never did that before. So if you're thinking about the journey class and will this work for me? Is this something for me? I can only tell you from my heart that it will change your life. And because it's a 9-month, a 10-month, a 12-month class, there's really no set time as to how fast or how short of time this can be done. It's all entirely up to you, because how much do you want to get out of this class is how much you're going to put into this class. So if you take the time and the diligence to do this, God's going to wait for you. If you're still not ready yet, he'll change you. He'll get you there. I promise. He did it to me. He totally got me to a place now where I'm striving to be in that rest, because do you want rest or do you want chaos? And that's the question that I have for you, the people that are watching, because living in God's rest is a wonderful place to be versus living in chaos where your life is wondering what's next because you have all of these things firing at you. But you know what? If you turn it over to God, everything's going to rest and that peace is going to fall upon you.
I know when I came to the truth, there was a contrition that came over me. But for a while, because I was unaware of the truth, I beat myself up a lot. And I feel like a lot of people do that right after deliverance because they realize they're still struggling with the flesh. Yes, the demons do come out, but we are also completely aware of our flesh problem too. And so for me, in my instance, in doing the journey, it really, I beat myself up a lot. And so if you feel like you can minister to that, because I feel like that a lot of people do that to themselves, if you can minister to that part of the heart right now in this part of the video, that'd be great.
Good. People, when you do go through deliverance, you're going to feel a change. You're going to know that God has done something in your life, and it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a step-by-step process, but he is going to take you through it. First of all, he's going to reveal it and he's going to get rid of it, but then he's going to change it. So he's going to bring something in that's much better than what was taken away. And by doing that, it's going to change everything about you, the way that you think, the way that you speak, the way that you feel. All of these things are going to change because of these demons, and whatever you have that's inside of you are taken away. Once that's gone, now you're open to let God come into your life and you can accept it. Because prior to this, I'm telling you, I just went through life. I was like probably a lot of you that are out there right now that we're just going through life. We're walking through life with concrete boots on. But let me tell you, take the sledgehammer and break the boots off, because I'm telling you, there is life. There is life after it. There really, truly is. And I can't express it enough because it changed me. It changed me to an individual to where I want to get to know God and I want to continue to keep knowing God. And the only way to do that is through his word and being in that resting place. You know, the chaos that happens in our lives on a daily basis, is so busy. But who's doing that to us? It's not God, it's Satan. Satan is trying to keep us so busy that we are so far away from God, and then Satan is like, right on, I did it, I got another one. God doesn't want that, not at all. So my encouragement to everybody that's out there that's listening to this, stick with it. I know it gets tough. You're going to be, why am I here? Why am I doing this? But in the end, it is all worth it. It is the grand prize that you're after, and that is to have eternal salvation from Jesus and know that he's going to watch over you, protect you and your family, and you're going to be able to combat anything that comes at you because you're going to have the tools that the journey class will give you.